Hello, hello, guten tag, salut, and all the other languages and shit. Old Freddie is back on the fucking beers. Oh, I have not drunk in 10 days since I was diagnosed with Captain COVID. So yeah, I just thought today is the night to crack open a couple of beers and have a little bit of a chill the fuck out. Sorry for not starting bang on 8 o'clock. My most humble apologies. I had other stuff. I wanted to go live on my other page, my Facebook page, just because I've been neglecting it a little bit. But I thought I would crack straight on, come over here, have a chat with the people, see how we are, talk to you about some projects, and just see what the fuck you guys want to talk about. Fen says, I got banned off Facebook for 3 days today because I called someone a toilet. I mean, as far as insults go, that is sort of beautifully creative. One says, yo to one. Where are you staying? I'm jumping back and forth like a yo-yo. I'm staying on here now. I just wanted to very quickly go live on my other page, just to sort of, on my Facebook page, just to sort of make people aware of it, you know, and what I'm doing. I've got a few things in the pipeline at the moment that I really want to do. So at the moment, I'm doing plenty of content. You might have seen the outdoor comedy content and stuff. It's on a playlist on my channel that you can watch for free. You can always watch all of my stuff for free. And it is, what is it called? The New Normal, which is, it was filmed sort of during August, September time. And it was filmed way back at a time when you could just watch comedy in your garden or whatever. And it's just fun. It's just fun, free content. So that's coming out. I'm also going to be filming a lot more stuff of gigs and things like gig diaries. So I did one recently. Well, I've been doing a few actually. They're under the playlist Comedian versus Audience, which I think is a pretty cool name for that kind of shit. But yeah, I am hoping to do more of those when gigs come back. So the whole idea of it is that you're going to get like a vlog about how the night is. You're going to get footage of the gig, but you're also going to get footage of backstage of the comics, maybe having a chat in the green room, and we're going to make it feel more like a night. That's something that I'm really excited about doing, and it's something that I started doing before lockdown 2.0 kicked off, and it's something that I have plans to continue once lockdown 2.0 comes back. In terms of what else I have got planned, I am also going to start a podcast. And when I say start a podcast, what I mean really is to relaunch my old podcast, which is the Fake News Podcast. And for those of you that didn't get to watch it or see it or listen to it or however you would describe a podcast, it's fucking great. It's dead fun. And we're going to be relaunching it through the Hot Water Comedy Club's YouTube channels. And you're going to be able to listen to it for free on a plethora of different platforms. So if you are somebody who's a podcast fan, you're going to really enjoy that. And it's more free content from me to you. Another thing that I want to do is, and I've not talked about this with anyone yet, so I'll have a chat with you guys. There's only 10 of us, so it feels kind of special. Do you know what I mean? I'll ask you, you tell me what you think of this in the comments. If it's a bollocks idea, just tell me it's bollocks, because I'd much rather know than you go, oh yeah, it's great, but then not bother with it. So, right? The plan is to potentially do a live 24-hour continuous gig over December in a comedy club to raise money for, I would say homeless and food banks and stuff over Christmas. That's something that is a charity that is quite close to me. But what would happen is it would be filmed live at a proper comedy club. We will get all the tech sorted, and it will be a case of trying to last as long as physically possible, trying to maybe we could do a 24-hour gig, or maybe we could do maybe we could do a show with trying to break the longest record for a gig or something like that. The options are open, but the idea would be, in general, it's raising money from for a food bank or for homeless people over Christmas or something like that. And it's a live 24-hour stream that you can access for free, but you can donate a couple of, quid to. And comics will be coming on to, how would you say, sort of give up their time for free, as it were. And it'll be streamed live on my channel, it'd be streamed live on their channel, it'd be streamed in as many places as possible. The whole idea will be basically raising money. It's just an idea that I've had. It's something over Christmas. The only thing that it requires is viewers, really. That's all that we need. So yeah, that's something that I have thought about, and if you are keen on it, then let me know. Let's see. Everything Fen says, shut up, you absolute toilet, cop me a 72-hour ban. That is funny, though. To call someone a toilet in that way is a creative insult. That's Sean says, different acts for 24 hours straight. Sounds brilliant. I just hope you don't expect me to be able to do the full 24 hours. No. So it will be different comics, right? And there will be a schedule of comics. And I imagine some of them will be live. Some of them will be like Zoom into the gig or whatever. And it'd be, I'd hope that it would be live, to be honest with you, like there'd be live people. Maybe it'd be really cool, depending on whether or not there was still COVID restrictions. It'd be quite cool to do it where people can pay for a ticket and pay to be there. I think that'd be quite good, but you never know, do you? It's an idea anyway. Let's see. Wesley Boyce says, how do you think about this new cure? I've seen I Am Legend, by the way. So we discussed this last night. In terms of the vaccine, I'm not going to get it because I've got the antibodies already, because my immune system's been exposed to it, so I don't need it. Would I be getting it no is the answer. And that's not because I'm anti-vax or anything like that. It's just because we don't know the long-term effects of it yet. And unless they can make a fucking compelling case that in 5 years your dick doesn't fall off or anything like that, or it doesn't end up with complications, and they know that for a fact, then I would be taking a back seat and letting other people go first. Let's see here. Mike says, sorry, I've missed you the last couple of live streams, but I'm back now. Have you missed me? We have missed you loads, Mike C. In fact, just the other day, we were all going, where is Mike C? I'm sure when he comes back, he's going to donate and give a super chat. Marcus Sapala says, I'm learning a lot from these live streams. You and me both, brother. You and me both. Wesley Boyce says, that's a great idea. Great. I'm glad you like it. Daniel Richards says, that would be great to watch. I would watch it. Good. It will be super accessible to people. That's what I'm hoping for. So, God, I miss beer. So, hopefully, I don't know whether or not it would be better if we were doing it, whether or not it would be better to have it so that you had to come into the comedy club in order to do it, or whether or not you would let people do the gig from home and kind of Zoom the gig in. But if you're going to do something like that, if you're going to let people Zoom the gig in from home and stuff, it rapidly turns shit. You've got to, I think, to be honest with you, if you're going to do it, I think it's got to be of a comedy club with an audience in. That's how I think it's got to work, because I think that's the only way watching live comedy can work. Nobody, if we're being honest, nobody wants to watch somebody streaming comedy on a shit fucking crappy webcam in the fucking nan's spur basement on dog shit Wi-Fi. Nobody wants to watch that shit. So it just makes it a really tough sell. I think watching it live in a comedy club with a comedy audience and you're watching a stream of it, I think that's a different beast. And I think that's what it's got to be in order to be good enough to make people watch, and especially to make them watch for the marathon amount of time that it would take to, to watch it and get it done. Let's see. Marcus Sapala says, sounds similar to what Graham Clark did in Vancouver. The way Graham did it was that he was on stage for 24 hours by himself, but he had jokes given to him by a bunch of other comedians in the club next to the stage. And it said, Marcus Sapala, they had a live audience and a live stream at the same time. I watched hours and hours of it. Oh, maybe, maybe we could do one where I would live stream it from my home, from here, and I would do the full 24 hours. I wonder what the record is. I wonder what the world record is for longest one-man show and whether or not I would be able to do it. I feel like 24 hours would kill me, but I think it would be really funny to do it and to donate the money to, to good causes over Christmas or whatever. I would be up for that. Although there would be a couple of bathroom breaks was all he took. What a pussy. I wouldn't be doing no bathroom breaks. Not a chance. I'd have a bucket underneath the desk. Pissing away. Oh my God. Mike C says, I will give you a super chat of half the money you will pay into my bank account. How about, Mike C, you give me a super chat of all the joy that I pay into your heart? It was worth a try, wasn't it? It was worth a try. Let's see. Thoughts on Poland, says K-Doll. You're going to have to elaborate for me there. What are we talking about, Poland? Let me Google. What is going on in Poland now? Let's see. Okay. What's going on? What is going on in Poland? Poland delays impending abortion ruling amid protests. Is that what people are talking about? Tens of thousands protest against Poland's near total ban on abortion. Is that what we're talking about? K-Doll, what's my thoughts on abortion? Where do you stand on abortion? Round about the stomach. Sorry, that's awful. Here is my thoughts on that. I would like to quote Jay from Jay and Silent Bob in the movie Clerks, and that is, a woman's body is her own fucking business. I honestly don't really have any further thoughts than that. I'm pretty liberal. Like, my underlying belief really is that people should be allowed to kind of do whatever the fuck they want, providing that what they're doing isn't like negatively impacting other people's lives. So if you say, like, for example, if someone says, oh, I want to go around and just live my life walking around punching people in the face, then obviously you shouldn't be allowed to do that, because, you know, most people don't want to be punched in the face, and you are imposing your life on them in a way that will make their life worse. And so I don't agree with shit like that. But if you want to walk around with a big sign that says, please slap me in the balls, fine, because it's not impacting my life. I don't give a shit. And that's kind of how I believe with everything. Like, even when it comes to stuff like, you know, trans rights and stuff like that, fine. If you feel better, you know, calling yourself by whatever pronoun you want to call yourself by, it doesn't impact me. So I don't give a shit. Go for it. Knock yourself out. Do whatever you want to do to make yourself feel happy. Not arsed. And it's the same underlying principles of this. Do you know what I mean? If you want to get an abortion, if you believe that you know, you can't look after that baby, or quite frankly, if you're plain up just don't fucking want it, as far as I'm concerned, until it leaves your body, it's your decision to make. Now, obviously, it goes without saying that it will be more beneficial if you are going to terminate pregnancy. It will be more beneficial to do it sooner rather than later, because I imagine that it's easier to kill a tadpole than it is to kill a fucking, like, almost a baby. So I think it's probably best to legalize it, give people the option straight away, and let people make their own minds up. And that's the end of it. We've got too many fucking people anyway. I used to do a stand-up bit about this. They should be incentivizing abortions. Keep the fucking population down. That's the long and short of it. I think good on Polish women for going out there and for protesting for something that should absolutely be their right. Because I can tell you right now, if I was a woman and I got pregnant and I didn't want it, and somebody said, oh, well, you've got to keep it and you've got to look after it and raise it, and you're a mummy now, and you've just got to deal with that shit. There's nothing you can do. I'd be fucking fuming. So I can totally see it from their point of view. I've probably talked about abortion for too much now. What's this here? Hello, what's with the screen? Smoke fire. Is the screen fucked up? Give me a second. Is that better? Is that better, guys? Sorry about that. I hadn't even noticed. Sorry, did it look like I was fucking chatting through an Instagram filter? Has that worked? Has that made it better for everybody? Let's see. Marcus Sapala says, show name Freddie Quinn can't quit 24-hour special. I would do a 24-hour special. I am more than happy to do that shit. If there was enough demand for it, then totally 100%. I would be more than happy to go right ahead and do it. Very, 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 very quickly. Let's see. Sean says thought on Gwent police. Yeah, I've seen here that Gwent police have been using their social media in quite a fucking funny way, to be honest with you. I quite like it when police do that thing where they're like, hey, we can have a little laugh at ourselves. Do you know what I mean? Like, I like that, mate. I like a little bit of banter on the page and stuff. Let's see. Mike C said, money cannot compare to the happiness you put in my heart. Fuck me, that sounded gay. Yeah, well, it's about to get an awful lot gayer unless you donate. Unless I see a £20 super chat, I'm going to come over there and suck your dick. K-Doll says, meant Poland as a whole, but yeah, abortion talk is cool also. Of course you did. Of course you meant Poland as a whole, and I just talked about abortions. Cool. I have been to Poland. I have been to Warsaw, and it is one of the coolest cities in Europe that I think that I've been to. And I have been to fucking loads of them. I absolutely love Poland as a city. Love Warsaw as a city. There is a real fun grittiness about Warsaw, in that it's been demolished and burnt down and shot up that many times that they've kind of just fucking given up with rebuilding it now. And the city is ugly as fuck, but it's got a really great heart, and some of the food is insanely good. Polish food is fucking brilliant. Let's see. The sign should be the show poster. Daniel Richards says, what are your thoughts on this coronavirus? Well, I'll bloody tell you, Daniel, because I've had it. I've tested positive and I am fine. I'm drinking at the moment. Look, so my thoughts on the coronavirus are this. You have to take it seriously. Even though I've had it and I was absolutely fine, I didn't have any problems or anything like that, I know that the symptoms that you can get can vary massively, and the severity to which you can get the symptoms can vary very massively. So you should take extra precautions not to get it. I do think, though, that the media is blowing things massively out of proportion, massively, because what they're doing is they are deliberately misleading people in order to get clickbait and to get ad traffic on their websites. They are deliberately making up bullshit and exaggerating bullshit. I'll give you a typical example. I saw a headline today from The Guardian, and the headline of The Guardian said, 1 in 5 Americans contracts mental health disease after COVID-19, something like that. And the crux of the article was that 1 in 5 Americans, after getting COVID-19, within 3 months, they develop a mental health issue. And they were like, oh, it's a new thing. COVID will fuck up your brain, make you anxious. What? And actually, if you break that down, well, 1 in 4 Americans get a mental health issue every year. So that's just a typical year. And also as well, during a lockdown, during a pandemic, of course you are going to see more issues of mental health problems. Of course you're going to see that. And if you've had COVID, of course you're going to be thinking about how you put bills on the table, how you feed your family, how you put bills on the table, how you put food on the table, how you put bills on the table. Oh, I've got to keep putting bills on the table. So yeah, it's not anything it's not news, but they write it in a way that makes you go, oh shit, I've survived COVID, but in 3 months' time, I might get depression. And it's just, look, COVID is real, it is serious, and you can get it quite bad. But the real problem is that the media have made everyone lose their fucking minds, and the politicians are no better. That's my opinion. Let's see. Lena. Hello, Lena. Lena says, hello, what's with the screen? Smoke fire? No, it was just dirty. I keep meaning, I use my webcam to do live streams, and I use my Sony camera here to do like videos and stuff. I keep meaning to set my Sony up for live streams, but the problem is that they are little bastards when it comes to overheating. And also I have a dummy battery and stuff, but I'm not quite sure how it works. So I always just seem to like, I always seem to sort of err on the side of, ooh, why has it lost me? Hello? Hello. I always seem to err on the side of, using this webcam, and I need to set it up better. Let's see. Smoggy fart, says K-Doll. A bit better, look like you've been going crazy with the vape, living in a fart cave. Living in a fart cave. Sean says, I thought you were just hotboxing. Are you playing with a squeaky toy? No, I am actually playing with the inside of a squeaky toy, because my gorgeous Jack Russell, Dexter, has a thing for squeaky toys where he rips the squeaks out of them and then tries to eat the squeaks. But obviously this will kill him because, it's plastic and he'll choke. So I have to take it off him. But then I like playing with the squeaks. And he's a dog, so he's got an excuse. I'm a grown man. I'm just a twat. I like touching things and stuff. I've got this that I play about with a lot as well. It's a tripod, but I just bend it while I'm talking. I don't know. I'm fucking weird. Hossin says, hi, hello, Hossin. Hossin says, I'm getting a COVID test tomorrow in school because the school got a huge army truck to build a tent so we can get tested in it, which is a bit scary, to be honest. Hossin, you've got nothing to worry about. Don't worry. So I've been tested. I've been in the same big fuck off white army tent and stuff. I've had the same test. All that happens is you get a little swab like this. You open your mouth, they swab the back of your mouth, they stick it up your nose for 5 seconds, it goes in a test tube. Honestly, I understand that if you are at school, everything is scary, but this is going to be fucking brilliant for you because it's going to mean probably about half an hour out of school. So something like that. So what you want to do, Hossin, is you want to, the minute that you get out, you want to be thinking, what's the longest possible time I can spend out of lessons here just to give myself a little break? You know, I'm play it in the game. I'm 16, by the way, he says, in year 12. Oh, good. Okay. So I can legally have sex with you. I'm sorry, that's awful. That's awful. Yeah, don't worry about it, Hossin. It's honestly, it's nothing to. And I would tell you, right? I would tell you if it was like I'd be like, look, don't go into school tomorrow. But I've had it done. It's nothing. This is what it is. This is literally what it is. You ready? You get a bag. Whoop. Put stuff on the table. Oh, there's a little stick here with a swab on the end. Up my nose. Do I need to do the other one? No, I don't need to do the other one. Okay, and I put it in here in this test tube, yeah? Whoop, and then you snap the end off, and then you tie it up, pop it in a bag, and you're done. And it literally takes as long as I've just done then. It's not anything. And to be honest with you, if you get tested, Hossin, if you get positive, then that's at least you know, because the last thing you want to fucking do is go home and see your fucking granny or whatever and give her a big old kiss and then end up giving her COVID. Do you know what I mean? And if you're negative, then you know you know that you've got a little bit more free license to sort of, you know, talk to you, because that must surely be a worry at 16, whether or not you're going to catch it, not know that you've got it, and then give it on to your parents, your grandparents, who could become seriously ill. So at least you're just going to know. At least you're going to know. Lena said Freddie is scarier than the kids. Well, here's the thing. Is I know how to, I was going to say I know how to talk to kids then. Now, that couldn't have really sounded any rapier if I tried. What I meant is that I know how to talk to kids because I used to be a teacher. And so I know what I'm doing when it comes to having a chat with them. And the way that I always used to talk to my pupils or to you know, school kids in general, is I would just talk to them like they were an adult and let them make their own decisions. And that's what kids at that age want. So here is your, here's what I'm saying to you, Hossin. It really isn't a big thing. I would genuinely tell you if it was. It's 5 minutes maximum. You're going to have, do you remember those fucking jabs that you had at school where they took you out in a lesson and then jabbed your arm? It's not even that. It's not even on the same scale as that shit. It's just swab in a bag, off you fuck, and that'll be the end of it. It'll be a slight break from your day and nothing to worry about. Lena says, what did you teach? I taught English. I taught English at secondary schools. Mohawk Callum said, had 2 tests and I've died. No, he said, had 2 tests and they are sound. Exactly. And Mohawk Callum knows what he's talking about. Would you trust a guy with a mohawk? Of course you would. They are the most trustworthy gentlemen. So, So yeah, absolutely. Don't worry about it at all, man. It's a walk in the proverbial park. Make sure, by the way, if you are watching this, make sure that you go ahead and click subscribe and click on the notifications tab. And the reason that I ask you to do that is because I have got some shit hot content coming out. So I'm making a new YouTube video at the moment. I'm making a new YouTube video at the moment. It's in the very early stages. But what I'm going to do, and I think this is dead funny, but maybe you'll tell me otherwise. What I'm going to do is I am going to submit fake erotic literature to erotic literature websites on the internet and see if anyone actually notices that they are fake. So I'm going to write some erotic literature that is legitimately me taking the piss, but I want to see whether or not I can put it on one of these websites and whether or not anyone will notice, because everyone's got their kinks, everyone's got their their fetishes, if you like. And I reckon that the world is weird enough that I can submit something that is clearly taking the piss, and enough people will go, "Oh yeah, that's real." Look at Lena straight in there. What genre? I'm going with straight sort of straight porn, basically. I'll tell you what, because I like you all, I'll read you out what I've written so far, and you can tell me what you think. And bear in mind, I used to be an English teacher, so, I'm not too bad. I know my way around a story, right? So the point was can I write a erotic piece of fiction that is clearly me taking the piss, but enough people will believe? So the first thing that I had to think about is, what is the unsexiest title that I can possibly think of? And the unsexiest title that I could think of is, and I quote, "A Night of Passion in the Council Flat." So that was the title that I was going for, "A Night of Passion in the Council Flat." Now, I went for character names, and I thought, what are the least sexy names in the world? What are the two least sexy names? So I've gone for Lena and Hossin. I'm joking. I've gone for Denise and Keith. Yes, says Jamie Hutchinson. Keith, exact. Denise and Keith. So I'm going to read you a little bit of what I've written so far, and the video is going to be, does anyone know? I'm going to submit it when I've finished it. I'm going to submit it to an erotic literature website, and I'm going to see if anyone cottons on that I'm taking the piss. So let me know what you think of this so far. I'll read it out to you now. Denise stood in the kitchen, her withered fingers wrapped around a Benson and Hedges cigarette, slowly bringing it to her dry, cracked lips and inhaling the thick, heavy smoke into her chest. Holding her breath for a moment, she let the smoke dance around the alveoli sacs in her lungs before gently exhaling a cascade of grey air onto her Primark woolen sweater dress. She knew her husband, Keith, would be home soon, and so she had positioned herself in the kitchen, pretending to be busy fixing tea, when really she was waiting for him to come home from work so that she might begin to seduce him. For even though Denise turned 60 just last month, that's right, fucking 60. But even though Denise turned 60 just last month, the fire in her loins burnt with an intensity of a woman half her age. Denise had long had a high sexual appetite. And this has got to be the paragraph, by the way. Paragraph 3 has to be the paragraph where someone realizes that I'm taking the piss, because even I think I've taken it too far with this one. Denise had long had a high sexual appetite. Indeed, it was not uncommon for her to be vacuuming the shag rug in the living room whilst keeping half an eye on Cash in the attic 1 minute, only to be suddenly overcome with lust and find herself panting on the sofa with her fingers buried deep within her puss the next, her body writhing and contorting to the fantasies of being ploughed by David Dickinson. Fucking hell. Just then, she heard a key turn in the door. She could just make out the silhouette of Keith's bulbous little body through the frosted glass panes of the door frame. She could not yet see all the little details, his balding hairline, his always stained clothing, the flabby jowls underneath his protracted chin. She yearned to drink them in, and underneath her sweater dress, she felt her wanton vagina twinge in anticipation. Keith walked through the door in an unceremonious fashion, dumping his bag of tools on the floor and kicking off his sweaty workman boots to reveal his threadbare socks. He hung his high-vis jacket on a clothes peg in the hallway especially reserved for him and proceeded to trudge into the living room. "I'm making cottage pie," called Denise from the kitchen. Sorry, there was a long process about exactly what was the unsexiest thing that Denise could be making at that moment in time. And I landed on cottage pie. "I'm making cottage pie," called Denise from the kitchen, to which Keith responded with a grunt of general acknowledgement. Denise knew better than to interrupt Keith when he'd just come home from work. He needed time to settle. In fact, she rather relished this part of the evening. The chase, the mere thought of having to use her womanly charms to seduce her man sent a shiver up her spine. As she took the cottage pie out of the oven to cool, her mind wandered to Keith ramming her up the arse and spanking her for being such a tease. As Keith sat almost motionless in a leather recliner at the far corner of the room, Denise made her move, strutting in with a roll in her mature hips, the skirt on her sweater dress hiked up to reveal slightly too much leg. She seductively bent over in front of Keith to present him with a steaming bowl of homemade cottage pie, which he duly took from her without so much as glancing in her direction. Undeterred, Denise stood at the back of the room waiting for him to finish. Whilst a part of her felt wounded that her advances were so easily spurned, another side of her was galvanized by how easily her affections had been cast aside. She would have to work harder than she'd originally anticipated. And nothing makes a working class woman wetter than having to work hard. That last line, that last line, nothing makes a working class woman wetter than having to work hard. That is one of literature's beautiful lines. Oh my days. Thank you ever so much to Neil Webbo. Enjoying the daily videos, Freddie. Always a good laugh. That council novel is quality. Thank you ever so much, Neil. That's very kind of you to donate a super chat. Neil has donated. You should all donate as well. Hey, be like Neil. Let's read some of the comments here. Sell the movie right now, says Marcus. Raw Zombie Jesus says, "Oh, she doesn't smoke Benson's, does she?" Yes, right. So that's the thing, right? At all points during writing that, there was a thought process of what is the most unsexy thing in the world. So obviously cigarettes kind of have like a, yeah, I'm cool, I'm sexy. But Benson and Hedges, oh my Lord. Is there anything? I've never seen a fit person smoking B&H. Just throwing that out there. Plenty of laughing emojis. Fucking dying here, says Hossin. Toad in the hole is a close second. Toad in the hole is gross in it as well. Jamie Hutchinson said, porridge. Porridge is pretty fucking unsexy, isn't it? Porridge is a pretty unsexy thing to have. I like cottage pie, though. There's something about it. There's something about the act of preparation in having to make a cottage pie that just makes it even worse. Lena makes a very good point here and says, is Keith 62 and still doing manual work? Yeah, he is, because they need the money. Yeah, I probably haven't thought of that, but I probably haven't thought of that, but that is a fairly good point. I just wanted, like, do you know, like with like 50 Shades of Grey, it's like, oh, he's come back in his suit. Oh, Mr. Grey taking off his tie. Oh, doing that with his tie. Oh, sexy. I just like the idea of somebody just in like a sweaty, smelly high-vis jacket, just plonking it up on a coat. You know, just a really unsexy job. The Betty A says the new 50 Shades of Grey. Mate, here's hoping. Here's hoping, because it made E.L. James a rich motherfucker. I would really donate if I had a credit card, mate. It's all right, Hossid. You've got an excuse. Charmaine Smith says, evening, this is actually my wife's account and I'm not Charmaine. Well, that's an interesting story. Do us a favour, Charmaine Smith's husband, sign your wife up to click subscribe on this channel and click the notifications bell. I'm sure she'd enjoy it. Mohawk Callum says, no wonder why I failed my English exams. This is well better than I can write. I don't know what it is, but for some reason, I've always been pretty good at being able to write stuff, like writing stories and things like that. Even when I was like a kid and stuff, it was always the thing that I could do better than anything else. Just the words seem to come, and I'm quite good at being able to make them flow and things like that. But to be able to channel that into writing obviously piss-taking erotic literature is a dream. Only failed my GCSE 4 times, he says. Okay, well, when you say you're well better than me, you've set the bar pretty low. Stephen says, still feeling all right with the Rona. Yes, I am. But unfortunately, Stephen, my doctor said that I will die unless you give me a £500 super chat. So it's all in your hands. No, I'm joking. I'm absolutely fine, Stephen. Thank you ever so much for asking. I've been very lucky to get a mild strain of it. That's not to say that the virus itself could not probably fuck you over if it wanted to. I'm sure that it could. But also as well, I've been okay, and you know, rather than scare people into thinking otherwise, I just have to say that I've been fine. Rob, raw zombie Jesus, gosh, that sounds like a great dish. Raw zombie Jesus says, is it worth doing a stand-up course? No. Seen the Laughter House do one for 300 quid, but don't know if it will be worth it. It won't be worth it. Don't, under any circumstances, pay 300 quid to Laughter House for a stand-up comedy course. For a start, I used to run one for half that price at Hot Water Comedy Club. And I am both a professional stand-up comedian, but also as well, I am a fully qualified teacher. So I am, in theory, better qualified than literally anybody in the country to give a stand-up comedy course, because I'm the only one, as far as I'm concerned, I'm the best comic to teacher that there is, in that I've literally got both those skills, and I'm telling you now not to do it. Because the thing is a course is only as good as the teacher that's on it. I know that's me bigging myself up, but if you're not a good stand-up, you can't teach someone how to be one. And if you're not a good teacher, then you could be the best fucking stand-up in the world. If you're not good at teaching somebody how to do it, then it kind of... Why do you think all those fucking... The majority of fucking football players that turn up to be coaches are fucking poo? Because they don't have the coaching bit. They don't have the teaching bit. They're great at football, but they haven't got a fucking clue how to make other people good. It's a different skill within itself. Anyway, Raw Zombie Jesus, for the love of fucking God, do not pay £300 for a stand-up comedy course. Just fucking do it. When the pandemic's fucked up, spend this time now writing, having loads of different ideas, and then when the pandemic's fucked off, just start. Wesley Boy says Berkeley Red cigarettes. They're pretty gross cigarettes, aren't they? I think sexy cigarettes are like Marlboro Lights. Do you know what I mean? Like they've got a bit of sex appeal about them. Berkeley Red, Sterling. Do you remember those? Oh, fuck me. Do you remember, right? And I haven't smoked in almost a year, by the way. A year tomorrow. But do you remember there was always somebody when you smoked, there was always a friend who'd just come back from Turkey or something like that. And they'd bring back these fags and they were like fucking, 23 letters on the packet. And it's not even like an alphabet that you know. It's like, Arabic writing on this packet of cigarettes. And they'd sell them for cheap. And they'd always be fucking dog shit. Charmaine Smith says, haha, I've done already. I know you probably won't remember. A year or so ago, a group of us saw you in Oxford, was part of a stag group. You picked my father-in-law out to be dressed as a cheerleader. Yes, I do remember Charmaine Smith's husband. That was at the Glee Club in Oxford, if I remember correctly. Yeah, and you were sat at the back, if I remember correctly as well. My fucking memory is superb. It's another side effect of COVID. Freddie used to do a course, Raw Zombie, ask him about his student who did a Postman Pat routine. Absolutely do not ask me about that, because that is that was a tough time, to say the least. What did you think of the Jimmy O show? Fantastic. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Also, I had COVID at that point. I'd actually, that was the only day that I didn't feel absolutely tip-top. So, so there's that. Let's see. I'm the same with Excel. Absolute whiz, and I can make magical things happen, but trying to show a noob how to do something simple, and I really struggle. Yeah, because being good at something and teaching other people to be good at something is a completely different skill. If you look at, for example, like I think the example that I used was great football coaches. There are some like Pep Guardiola or whatever, who's a great player, great coach, but there's a lot who were great players and just fucking awful coaches. Roy Keane, great player, fucking dog shit coach, because having that ability to coach people or to make people good at something is a completely different skill set. Raw Zombie Jesus says, nice one for the advice. I'll have to give it a go. Been thinking about doing it for 2 years. Yes. So one thing that a course won't do, Raw Zombie Jesus, is stop you from being a massive little pussy. Sorry, but that's what you need to hear. You're being a pussy. The reason that you haven't done it for 2 years is because deep down you're a bit scared that it won't go well. But here's the thing, right? If it doesn't go well, if nobody laughs, guess what happens? Nothing. They don't even remember you. They don't even remember you when you get off stage, let alone when you've left the club, let alone the next day when you wake up and they wake up. You might remember it, but they'll forget it fucking instantly. So don't worry about it. Stop being a pussy. Accept that you're going to have to do it, and you're going to have to be shit several times. How great would you have been if you'd have started 2 years ago? There's an old Chinese proverb, Raw Zombie. Yeah, that's right. I said Chinese proverb. I bet that wasn't what you were expecting to come out of my fucking mouth. There's an old Chinese proverb that says the best time to start a tree, to plant a tree, was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. And the idea to that is that if you don't start something, you'll never start. So you have to get started, because that's the first step. That's basically it. Charmaine Smith has donated €2. And when I say €2, what I really mean there is that Charmaine Smith's husband has donated €2. And thank you ever so much for that. It's very much appreciated. And if we all donated €2, if we all just gave €2, then I would have €20. Money, 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 money. So yeah, okay. Hossin says a fun fact: I can speak, read, and write Arabic. Oh, cool, good for you, man. Holy shit! Stephen has donated £19.99. Mate, bless your bloody heart. I wasn't expecting that at all. Thank you so much. Well, that's less money. Less money for that comedy course. Oh no, that was Raw Zombie. Thank you very much, Stephen, man. That's very helpful. Certainly makes Charmaine Smith's husband look like a miser, doesn't it? Thanks, man. That's great. Holy shit, I'm fucking making Burcoin on this. I feel like a shit OnlyFans. It's great, YouTube. Do you know what? It's absolutely fucking brilliant as YouTube, because since I've been able to get the 1,000+ fans, I've literally been able to monetize it. And that, to me, is a fucking brilliant thing. And even if you can just make 20 quid off one stream, 25 off another, it all fucking adds up, and I can invest in equipment and stuff. And yeah, man, thank you ever so much. Marcus says, getting started in comedy is easy. A lot of people have a great first gig. The challenge is the next few when you start bombing, but then you've already started, so you're hooked. It is kind of like a drug in that respect, in that once you start, you carry on and you keep going. But you have to make peace with the idea that at some point you're going to be shit. You're going to struggle, and you're going to make life difficult, and you're just going to suck. And it happens to everybody. Everybody has bad gigs. And you just, at first, it's like, oh, I'm not doing very well. But after a while, it's water off a duck's back. Let's see. Can you tell us the Postman Pat routine? Okay, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to make my way through these comments, and then I'm going to tell you the Postman Pat routine, because it's a long one, but it is a good one. Thank you so much, Jamie Hutchinson, you bastard. Good advice, mate. Charmaine Smith said, I thought it was pounds. I live in Cyprus now. Good for you. What's COVID like in Cyprus? Tell us what COVID is like in Cyprus. Raw Zombie Jesus says, yeah, I totally agree. I've been a major pussy. I gave the same advice to my mate who wanted to start streaming. Good for you, man. At least you're admitting it and being realistic about it. You've got to start these things. You've got to jump straight in, and you've got to start them, and you've just got to fucking go for it. Because if you don't, then you'll never start. So wait until the pandemic is over, because right now there's fuck all going on, and then just jump in. Let's see. Raw Zombie Jesus says, try live streaming some stand-up. If you perform a silent room, you'll never know, so nothing to fear. Yeah, well, that's a good way of doing it, isn't it? Wow, I'm an arsehole from James. Every little helps. Comedy night school with Freddie. Oh, mate, I'd be happy to do that. I'd be happy to do some mentoring over this. I mean, like I said, we're in lockdown at the moment. We've got fuck all else to do, haven't we? So, yeah, go for it. I'll diversify. Mohawk Cam said, honestly, would say to go for it and don't sit thinking what if. I was the same with photography. 2 years later, I was shooting for a big festival. Totally. You've got to fucking do it. You've got to do it, be shit, and then have the desire to get better. Is it impressive that I got a grade 8 in English for my GCSE results, even though English is my second language and I've only been studying English for 7 years? Yes, it is impressive, Hossin. However, you have the advantage of, did you say that you were able to speak Arabic? So that would lead me to believe that you have Middle Eastern parents. And that would lead me to believe that your parents do not fuck about and they make you do well in school, which is an advantage within itself, because I have taught plenty of kids from a Middle Eastern heritage, or from Indian heritage, or from Pakistani heritage. And I will tell you this, they work their fucking dicks off. They work hard, because if you go home and you're like a kid with like a white mum and dad, it's like, oh, I got kicked out of lessons today. Oh, fucking dickhead. Oh. And then they fuck off to bed. But as soon as it comes at what did you learn at school today? What did you get? What's your teacher? And they are so involved in the kids' education. So yes, it's impressive that it's your second language, but you've also got an advantage in that you've got parents that give a shit. So Let's see. I am going to make my way around to the Postman Pat story, I promise. Neil Webbo says, last time I went to Hot Water, there was a guy who'd done a routine where he had lost his sheet with his jokes on, but he had the sheet with all the punchlines. He worked through them all. Not saying much and remaining mostly silent was hilarious. What was his name? Can't find him. Tried to find him on YouTube, but I can't. I just wondered if you remember because you was a compere. I have no idea on that, unfortunately, mate. The thing is I'm really good at remembering gigs, but because I'm at Hot Water all the time, all the gigs kind of blend into one. Whereas with something like Oxford, I'm not there particularly often. So I know instantly, I go, aha, that was it. That was a who, what, when, where, why type thing. So sorry, man, I don't remember that. Luke LFC TRFC says, do you like rice pudding, you kinky whore? No. No, I don't like rice. I mean, you're more than welcome to call me a kinky whore. I'm not really bothered about that. But I'm not a rice pudding fan. I think I'm funny with food and the consistency of food, and it's sloppy and shit. I don't like it. I mean, the way that you phrased it, Luke, does make it sound like you're asking if I enjoy having sex with a rice pudding, which I wouldn't rule out. Let's see. If I said that to my parents, I'd get my ass kicked. Exactly. There's one benefit to a comedy course. It's a nice way to meet people. I did one a couple of years ago. Many of us are still active. We had a comedian from the UK coming over for a 3-day course. I got a lot out of it. It's a good way to, to network and stuff. And I would say that if you can find one that's run by somebody that you trust, that's like £100 or something like that, for some people, they will benefit from that. But £300, fuck me, that's taking the piss. Sorry, Laughter House, but it is. James Allen said, if comedians boxing came back, who would you fight? Adam Rowe. I'd also like to knock the shit out of Doug Siegel as well. But you said comedians boxing, not comedians and fat shit magicians. I'd also like to fight Kate Smurthwaite. Anyway, what do you... Oh, Grimshaw. Love to fucking twat that little prick. What do you think of me versus Jamie Hutchinson? That has to be a win for Jamie Hutchinson. I love you, James, but Jamie. Oh, actually, I don't know, because Jamie can channel in the anger of his shit life, but James can channel in the anger of his dad leaving. So it would be very much, Clash of the Titans. I don't know. I'm going to side with Hutchie. James, and that's not because I don't think you're hard as nails. It's just purely because, he's got that northern grit. Jamie Hutchinson says, you can be my corner man, Fred. Just channel your shit life. You're a bum, Jamie. You're a bum. It ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep going to the job center. That's how winning is done. Right, okay. So, fucking hell, I think that's activated some COVID in my chest. Right, okay. Let's do the Postman Pat story. Okay, so Postman Pat story is this. I was, and feel free, by the way, if you've enjoyed this story, feel free to subscribe. Feel free to send me a super chat or a donation, just like all of the absolute legends have done, like Stephen has done, like Neil Webbo has done, like Charmaine Smith's husband has done with his €2. Anything, as much or as little, is all helpful. And if you don't have money, just subscribe to the channel. That's fucking really helpful, as it is. Right. So this is the story. So I used to teach comedy courses to would-be comedians. Now, when you teach comedy courses, you tend to find... I'm cracking open another beer for this story, by the way. It's a fucking long one. When you teach comedy courses, you tend to find... Oh, shit, beer's coming up. No, it's fine. When you teach comedy courses, you tend to find that you get the same type of person on every course. So you'll always get, for example, the cocky Jack the Lad, you know, I'm just going to fucking wing it. I'm just going to fucking wing it. I'm a fucking salesman. I'm fucking estate agent. Fucking, I'm used to just fucking thinking off the cuff. I'm fucking great on my feet. I got the fucking gift of the gab. I got the gift of the gab. And they are always major fucking dickheads that shit themselves because they talk a good game and they fucking crap the pants. You always have a quiet woman or usually quiet girl who has brilliant writing, absolutely brilliant writing, really nice turns of phrase and interesting, clever, unique, original thoughts, but whose delivery is fucking appalling. And actually getting her to just speak into the microphone and say her fucking stuff is just, any delivery goes out the window. It's Falls says, not much, but hope it helps. Freddie, love the streams. Thank you so much for that, pal. £4 is a absolute banger. It goes straight into the money pot, and it will all go towards me. That's how it ends. It'll all go towards me. Anyway, you always get these same type of acts. You always get as well divorced dad who's having some sort of midlife crisis, who's like, I'm just gonna fuck it. I just wanted to have a go. I just wanted to have a go. That's what you get on every course, right? And on every course, you also get one person who is fucking mental, like like a mental person. And so you've got to manage a lot of different personalities in the group. And what I used to do, right, is I used to have an exercise right at the beginning of the course where I said, what you're going to do is you're going to walk on stage, you're going to take the mic out of the microphone stand, and you're going to move the microphone stand to the back of the stage, and you're going to say your name and introduce yourself. And you're going to do it in a fluid thing. So you're not going to walk up and grab and then talk. It's all going to be one thing, like that. And people originally, what they do is they all go, oh, I can do that easily. I can say something and talk. And then they'll go, hello, and then they'll grasp the mic a bit wrong. They'll go, oh, like that. I'll go, oh, try again. And then they'll come off stage and they'll come back on and they'll unclip it this time, or they'll see how it works. And they'll go, oh, hello, I'm John, or whatever. And then that's them. And the reason that I do it is because it's a really easy way of getting them on stage and getting them to do something fucking simple, right? It's an easy win for them. It gets their confidence up a little bit, and that's important, right? So I've had people most of the time take 2 goes to do it. Every once in a while, somebody will take 3 goes to do it because they're nervous. I had one guy on a course who took 7 goes to do it. He just couldn't fucking do it. He would literally go on stage like this and he'd shuffle on and go, I've forgotten, like that. And I go, you just say your name and take the mic out. He'd go, I'm Peter. And then he'd sort of like, and it was like, no, mate, you go off and then come back on. So go, and he'd come on and then he'd go, I'm Peter. And then the mic could still be in the thing and be like, no, you take it. But I'm trying to be dead nice. But in my fucking head, I'm like, oh my God, this dude is going to kill me. It turns out, right, that he was in his 40s, in his 50s. He was like a shelf stacker at Sainsbury's or something like that. And he's one of those. And I don't mean anything by this, but it's the best way I can describe it, right? Is he wasn't disabled, but he certainly was on the fucking spectrum. Do you know what I mean? Like he had some sort of a learning difficulty or something like that, right? So anyway, we're writing material and stuff and we're doing things, and he's got a big routine, right? I asked them the first week to come home and write a routine and then come back again and we'll talk about it. And this is the routine that he wrote. He went, so I got a knock at the door the other day, and it was a postman. And he said, I have a rather large package for your wife. That was it. That was it. So I wanted to be all encouraging, but I was like, really? Really? So we were trying to work with him and stuff, but it just wasn't happening. The thing is it's not that he lacked the enthusiasm. It's not that he was, lazy or anything like that, or he thought he knew it all. He wasn't cognitively able. He wasn't clever enough to do this. I'm not saying stand-up comics are brain surgeons or anything like that, but he just couldn't write things down and remember things. And I was quite worried about him. But the one thing that he had going for him is because he was such an underdog that you couldn't help but love him when he was on stage. And I took a gamble and let him do the show. I almost didn't let him do it. It was that bad. I let him do the show. We put him in the middle, the easiest spot, right? And he starts off and everyone's like, what the fuck is this? And he's, hello. So I got a note from the postman, and he said, I have a rather large package for your wife. And then he did something else, and people were like, is that the joke? Oh my God, that's fucking amazing if that's the joke. And people were laughing at him, but also willing for him to do well. And there was also as well a bunch of people from his job at Sainsbury's, young lads, dickhead lads mainly, teenagers and that, who'd come down to watch him die on his arse. And so he was actually smashing it in front of the room. And you could see them, they were like, well, this isn't part of the script. They didn't really know how to react, but he was killing it. He was doing great because he's such an underdog and people want him to do well. Now, unfortunately, as I've mentioned, he was somebody who wasn't sharp. So he was doing his stuff, and all of a sudden he got cocky and overconfident of what he was doing, and he started ad-libbing and making things up and improvising, and that was when shit went wrong. So he was talking, he goes, fucking postman with his black and white cat called Jess, but my postman has only got a black cat, so it's probably not called Jess. It's probably called N-word. And honestly, the crowd was like, what did you just fucking say? And you could see in his mind, he was panicking, and he was like, I thought that was a funny word, what people say. And he left the stage, which was good because he was maybe 5 seconds away, I would say 10 seconds away from somebody running on stage and punching him. It had turned that bad, right? So he leaves the gig. Everybody backstage who's on his course is in shock. And he was like, I just panicked. And I sort of said to him, look, you cannot say stuff like that on stage, man. You can't do it. And that was really the end of that. And I had the show to run, so I just fucking left it. Anyway, that night, I am walking to my car, and all of a sudden, I'm about to get in, and this woman runs across the... I should be all right telling this because it was over a year ago. It was a year and a half ago now. This woman runs across to me, shouting my name, Freddie, 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 Freddie. I'm like, hi, do I know you? And she's like, oh, I'm Peter's wife. He was on the gig tonight. I was like, oh, right, okay, how are you? And she was like, I'm not good. She was really distressed. And she went, he won't get in the car. He's saying that he had a bad gig and he messed everything up. And I don't want to come home with him when he's like this because he'll just take it out on me. I need you to make sure that he's all right. I need you to go over there and tell him that he's had a good gig. And I was like, oh, God. And so I said, listen, I said, look, I said, I'll go over there and I'll tell him that he's had a good gig. But I need to know right now, between me and you, are you okay? And she was like, I'm not okay. No. And I said, right, okay. I said, I'm going to take your details. I'm going to take your name. I'm going to take your address, I'm going to take your number, and then we'll go over there. And she was like, oh, no, I don't want to get him in trouble. He's a good man, really. He's just got a temper, all this. And I'm like, oh, fucking hell. But I knew that we had the details of the person because they booked the course. So I knew that we had all that details anyway. And so I was like, all right, okay, cool. We'll go over. And so I had to spend 10 or 15 minutes telling a racist wife beater that actually he'd had a really good first gig. It was fucking grim. It was absolutely grim. And that's the kind of people that you meet for your £300 comedy course. That was the worst one. That was the worst one that I've ever had. But there have been some people on there who've been just mental. But yeah, that's the story. And do you know what as well? I've just remembered another key bit of that story. I remember her saying, my husband hits me unless Freddie Quinn gets donations and super chats. I'm sorry. Fucking hell. That really is me pushing my luck. Jesus Christ. Even for me, somebody who has a pretty sick sense of humor, to pretend. Oh my God. Well, that's the story anyway, folks. If you've enjoyed that, then by all means, please feel free to subscribe to the channel and click the notifications bell. We've got some fucking belting content coming up. Would you or have you done DMT, La, says Luke Jones. Would I do DMT or have I done it? I haven't done it. I had what I thought was DMT, but it wasn't. As part of a cigarette that was being passed around, not a cigarette, like a joint that was being passed around at a festival, I think was Beat Herder in maybe 2012, something like that. I used to be into my drugs. I used to be into them. But now I kind of like basically fucked it over. I'm kind of done with it. Would I take DMT? I'm not against it, but I'm not running for it either. I've never been a massive fan of like psychedelics and shit like that messes with your brain. I took mushrooms once in Amsterdam. Not my fucking bag, man. I like shit that chills me the fuck out. I like shit like weed and like fucking tramadol and stuff like that. That's what I live for. None of that fuck. Like my brain works fast enough already. Do you know, like with stuff people like, oh, I simply love taking cocaine. It's like, mate, my fucking brain already is in overdrive. Rob Zombie, Raw Zombie says, I've got 100 milligrams of DMT in my jaw, but like stand up, I'm too much for a pussy again. Mate, or you could combine those two things together, mate. Have a bit of DMT and get a lot of writing done. Do you know what I used to do back in the day? I used to, back in the day, get a lot of stuff from the website Silk Road, which was the dark web website what sold drugs and that. And that was fucking brilliant. And I used to get loads of Adderall from there. And Adderall, if you haven't taken it or you don't know what it is the it's the ADHD drug that they give to kids with ADHD, obviously. And it just makes you focused as a motherfucker. It's like laser focus. I remember taking it once and watching Eurovision Song Contest. And it was the year that Conchita Wurst won, the one with the beard. And I remember taking it and thinking, I'm just going to get really into Eurovision Song Contest. And what actually happened is that it was raining outside. I remember focusing on the raindrops on the windowsill for like an hour. I missed the whole fucking thing. I was just so focused on them. It was great. Thought that was Ritalin, Freddie, me, Chavy. Yeah, Ritalin. I think Adderall is the American version of Ritalin, but it's pretty much the same thing. So yeah, if you have enjoyed old Freddy's story time, then click subscribe, because we do shit like this all the time. I've been doing it every night so far. But also as well, I got loads of fucking brilliant content on the way. You've seen the erotic literature that I'm going to get posted, and see where that goes. It's going to be fucking well funny. So please subscribe and click the notifications bell. If you haven't already, then check out the New Normal playlist on my channel and the Comedian versus Audience playlist on my channel. All of the videos on there are less than a month old. It is fresh ass content and it's fucking brilliant. And I will see you again, hopefully tomorrow. Thank you ever so much for everybody that's chatted and joined in and watched, and an extra special thank you to everybody that's donated and super chatted in order to help the conversation keep going. Thank you ever so much. I'll see you again probably tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Goodbye. Subscribe, motherfuckers. Bye.